Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Star Citizen Alpha 3.18 is the next big patch release that Cloud Imperium Games have planned. It is a major milestone of a patch, but its features and schedule have changed somewhat over the last few months. So let's take a deeper look at each of the features that this patch is planned to have and what we know about them. Let's actually look at release dates first. It's currently expected that Alpha 3.18 will go into Evocati or early closed PTU testing at the end of September. Cloud Imperium want to have 3.18 out by mid-November to live, just ahead of the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. This is pretty close to a deadline for Cloud Imperium for this because there are bits of 3.18 that are needed for the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. And there's some concern that it won't be ready because Cloud Imperium have said it will be a 2 to 3 month testing cycle, sort of roughly, for all of the new features and persistent entity streaming and stuff that they've got in this patch. So I think there's always the potential for the IAE, the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, or features to be delayed, or for 3.18 content to be split into 3.18.0 and 3.18.1 patches, potentially. But it's also quite possible that they will hit their targets and most or all of the patch features will make it in. Just bear that in mind. Let's jump into gameplay features with one of the most hotly anticipated additions to Star Citizen, salvage. So in Alpha 3.18, this is going to be one type of salvage, hull stripping or hull scraping. They're adding the Drake Vulture, and in 3.18, that will be able to use its salvage lasers to scrape the hulls of ships, collecting RMC, Recycled Materials Composite. This is very similar to mining, but has the addition of new damage states, so you can see where a ship's been damaged or where the hull has been stripped. This material can then be dispensed into cargo boxes and placed in your cargo bay. The Reclaimer can do the same, but on a larger scale. It's got 2 manned salvage laser turrets. Then it can dispense that salvage, and then you'll want to place it in the cargo grid. And you can place quite a lot of salvage in the cargo grid. It's kind of a much more multi-crew operation on the Reclaimer. You will be able to salvage player and NPC ships in 3.18, but not outposts or ships that are part of missions and set pieces at this stage. So a lot of the derelicts and things like that will typically be unsalvageable. You will be able to salvage by hand as well, using the multi-tool with salvage attachment. Stripping the hull will fill canisters with RMC, and the same salvage hand tool can also be used to repair ships and their hulls, but it will leave obvious signs of battle scarring. There are filler stations on the Vulture and Reclaimer for you to get RMC ammo to for your multi-tool attachment. Persistent Entity Streaming, or PES, is a core technology for Star Citizen. This will allow every dynamic object to persist when placed on a server and server states not to be lost. So that keeps on going and going, and these items will start to cause lasting impacts and changes on servers. However, for Alpha 3.18, they are focusing on the foundational tech for this, and there are some big limitations here. Although you could hide a stash of weapons somewhere, and it would actually persist in that location, unfortunately, you won't necessarily get back onto the server that you left them on. Although that server data is saved and doesn't get disappeared or vanish or get destroyed, when you log back in, bam, you could just be on a different server. That will change in the future though. The tech will allow for server meshing, base building, and a fully persistent universe, and this is a big milestone and stepping stone on the way there. The cargo refactor. So the refactor of ships' cargo systems will allow for both found and purchased cargo to be picked up, moved around, and placed into the cargo grid of a ship. So this is adding additional cargo, more interactivity with cargo and commodities. We don't have the full details of the implementation in 3.18, but we do know that Cloud Imperium want to have times and costs associated with loading and unloading cargo as well, and various types and sizes of cargo containers. They will be expanding out the cargo and the cargo refactor over several patches for sure, but there should be some big changes with 3.18. The Drake Corsair was recently added to the list of features for Alpha 3.18. This will see the popular no-frills multi-crew explorer flyable in-game. There is an in-depth crash site on Daymar that combines a derelict 600i and Mercury Star Runner, which again, another derelict. These are both new for 3.18. as well as a junker settlement altogether. This site will have missions tied to it and various gameplay opportunities, including exploration and combat. There's the potential that we will get the 600 Iron Mercury Star Runner appearing as derelicts in other locations and space at the same time too, although Cloud Imperium have not confirmed this yet. There are additional rivers and lakes that will appear on Microtech and Hurston. We know that there are new river tools that Cloud Imperium have been building out, and we can probably expect some visual updates to rivers as well. They'll probably look better, they'll probably be generated a bit better. A new sand cave archetype is being added as well, and we're again going to see this on Daymar, at least to start with. They will only have FPS entrances, so no vehicle versions in this iteration, nor are there expected to be any missions tied to them directly in 3.18. Again, that will be coming later. You can expect to see sandstone in these caves and sand and better lighting and various improvements that have been made to things like traversal tech and tools. Cloud Imperium are also working on acid, ice and overgrown type caves for the future too. There are new accessible platforms and missions planned on Crusader at Orison, with various bounty, assassinate, clear all and other opportunities there, bringing some more of that Siege of Orison style gameplay on a smaller scale, even when that event isn't running. There's a Greycat PTV golf buggy racetrack on Crusader at the Orison Vision Center, making use of that expo hall even when a major event isn't running. Players will be able to participate in buggy races here, though what form of game enforcement there will be for these remains to be seen, but it should be fun and silly. Klesha Prison is getting a variety of new missions and activities associated with it. NPCs are getting added to the mining and cave areas, so you'll be able to hunt them down and steal their stuff. There may be reasons to raid stashes and return these items to the main prison. Problem prisoners will have bounties on their heads. There's also a dark zone that will allow missions from outside Klesha to be taken, so some cool stuff will be happening there. I expect some tweaks to general prison design and gameplay as well. Security Post Korea will be taking a more central role in Stanton's security. Crusader Security have moved in full-time staff and have begun storing confiscated contraband aboard. The station will be off limits to civilians unless given prior authorization. They are making it the only place that you can hack down your criminal rating, which will help make it a hot zone. They're also adding various defenses there with turrets and security NPCs. Killing the security staff there will eventually spawn a boss who has a code on him. They will then allow you to access the evidence or confiscated goods locker if you take them out, and you can then keep spawning loot there, almost like Jumptown. However, bounty hunter missions will be generated to deal with players that kill guards and overstay their welcome at Security Post Korea, but it will be high risk, high reward. Cloud Imperium have warned lawful players not to touch the confiscated goods, even if they're trying to liberate them. There are also some relatively major crime stat changes that are being tested for 3.18 that should make it. This would have players with up to a crime stat 2 no longer lawful to be attacked, and that would allow them to also land at landing zones and pay off their fines, along with a bunch of other fixes for crime stats and law gameplay. Cloud Imperium have implied that there may be some significant Gen 12 renderer updates with Alpha 3.18, so it might be some form of initial implementation, a tier 0 may be on the cards. This will make Star Citizen more scalable and performant on a wider range of systems, as well as potentially giving us some more visual benefits, hopefully a bit more stability. This is also a prerequisite of them getting Vulkan integration in the game, which is another big step to having better looking graphics, faster sort of frame rates, all that sort of jazz. We know that the IAE, or the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, is going to be part of 3.18 and running during its cycle. The IAE is one of the biggest events of each year in Star Citizen, where almost every ship goes on sale, including the massive ones, in very limited quantities, admittedly. There are sort of free flies going on, dozens of ships to try for free, an in-game expo. That's sort of expected to be going on just after 3.18 releases. Typically, the IAE is sort of late November. That's all we know currently that's planned for 3.18. There are some other maybes and potentials here too. There could very well be some new unannounced ships and vehicles being released, especially seeing it's around the IAE. So I expect some new stuff to turn up. Also, Cloud Imperium have been keenly working on the Hull C for a while now, and I think it's a perfect time, if it's ready, to release it for 3.18 because of the cargo refactor. It just sort of makes sense, right? So maybe if it's ready. We often see new armor, and Cloud Imperium have been showing off very sneak peeks of the FPS Volt Electron weapons, from pistols to SMGs. That, to me, looks like they may be ready for 3.18 as well. Now, please bear in mind that more features could turn up. There are likely a whole host of minor updates and fixes and little missions and things that Cloud Imperium have yet to mention, and optimizations and improvements, missions associated with that new content that sort of will be covered at some point in the future. And conversely, we could see features and bits slip or be delayed. There were some concerns about the cargo refactor not being mentioned by Cloud Imperium for some time, so they have recently replied to that saying it's still planned for 3.18. Some of those other features, like the persistent entity streaming and salvage and stuff like that, they touch on the cargo refactor, and so they will let us know if anything like that slips, though. Nothing's really confirmed until it's in our hands. Boom, that's it for what we're expecting in Alpha 3.18's patch. I am very excited to get involved with those tests. We don't know when that's going to go to like a wider PTU after Evocati testing. How long is it going to be in the Evocati phase? Obviously, we have the rough plans from Cloud Imperium where they want that live build mid-November, but we'll have to wait and see. You can expect an open PTU before that. There are some massive milestones, features, and gameplay additions here, but what do you think? What are you most looking forward to in that patch? And do you think they will hit their target release dates? Do you expect anything in particular to slip? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. You know something that I shield for? It's Tobii Eye Tracker 5. It's natively supported in Star Citizen, and you can use your eyes for more precise and immersive control. It's supported by a load of other games as well. It's actually pretty cool. Check out my links below if you're interested in seeing more, and also use the code BoredGamer to get a discount.
I'm Nord Catcham, and it's my mission to become a Nord Master. Oh no, it's Team Hacksaw. Hacksaw uses trackers and blocks your ability to go on websites like Netflix and watch the content that you want to on Netflix? ? Go Nordichu! Nordichu uses nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. It is super effective. He beats Team Hacksaws and he becomes a NordVPN master, a Nordimon master. Fortunately, with NordVPN, you don't need to catch them all. You just need to get a subscription from nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. Links below. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and for September, we're giving away 3 ships, 1 each, to 3 different lucky winners. The Origin 100i, the 125A, and the 135C. Any of these solid starter ships will allow you just to jump into Star Citizen and play right away. All you need to do is comment on any of my videos made during the month to be in for a chance of winning one of those. More details in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to further support the channel, consider using the join button under my videos or becoming a Patreon. Either way, you'll get access to some exclusive content and have more of a voice in shaping the channel. A huge thank you to anyone that already does that. You are amazing. I love you. Zin also is contractually obliged to love you. There is a link for donations and all that jazz in the description below as well if that is your preferred medium. It is super appreciated, genuinely. Once again, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the verse.